Taking centre stage was Agnes Dermont. Older, to be sure, but she'd certainly kept her figure. Her husband, Alan Vernon, had managed to cast her as the beauty being fought over by Viking and Englishmen. The older woman-younger man dynamic might be good publicity, at least so Ernie and his new publicist hoped. Then there was Marguerite, a younger actress playing Agnes's sister. There wasn't a lot of resemblance, but someone had inserted a line into the script explaining they were half-sisters, so it was enough to get past the audiences. From the crew was Ruth Seagram, the costume designer, dressed like a homeless woman. She'd wanted real animal pelts to work with and had got polyester. Ernie had explained there was no budget for actual animal skins. She'd threatened to quit, but he could tell she didn't really mean it. She'd told him she had always wanted to design medieval costumes. Somehow he doubted it. There was only so much a designer could do with horsehair, synthetic or no. But he wasn't going to look a gift horse in the mouth. He watched as she knocked back a glass of wine, then looked around for a refill, toggling her glass. Did the Vikings even have access to leopard skins? Annie supposed it was possible, there being marauders without borders. He'd Google it later. Ernie politely raised his own glass to the author of the novel on which Viking Bride was based. He couldn't remember his name now. It wasn't important, but it was in his contract that he could appear in one scene of the film, in a non-speaking part, which seemed to be preventing him from complaining too loudly about how radically the script differed from the book he'd written. Although Ernie had heard there'd been tension between him and the scriptwriter, the novelist seemed to think he had some say in what happened once he'd signed over the option on his book. What a nincompoop. Best to give him a wide berth until he'd accepted his fate. Over there, chatting up a barmaid, was the consultant on Viking history. Dr. Esker Jonasson, trying to look as Viking-ish as possible with his long sandy beard and leather jacket. His imposing frame had filled the doorway as he strode into the room on long, muscular legs, blonde hair cascading past his broad shoulders. The only thing missing was an iron sword in his hand. Too bad his thick eyeglasses spoiled the effect, but his obvious Northern European heritage more than compensated. His rugged features and pale blue eyes showcased a lineage tracing back to non-polyester-wearing ancestors, whose longships looming on the horizon had struck fear into the hearts of so many. This scion of Scandinavian warriors had been recruited to lend an air of authenticity to the film, with the publicist instructed to invoke his expertise at every opportunity. While his academic credentials were impeccable, a double PhD from Minnesota in Norse history and archaeology, it was his first-hand familiarity with the old ways that made him invaluable. Esker had learned the skills of his ancestors during his formative years on the rugged Lofoten Islands. He could wield a battle-axe, build a longship, and navigate by the stars as deftly as he could now pass ancient runes and sagas.